Tracen Academy, a school where Umamusume, otherwise known as horse girls, from around the world enroll to perfect their running skills and draw out their full potential, all in hopes of winning all manners of races. Long or short, in perfect weather or inclement conditions they train. Very few things will stop them. But what if, one day, Tracen Academy opened its doors to transfer students from far and wide? Oh, would you look at that? Seems the director has already approved too.
女神の導いた縁なら無意味なものはないと信じている。
Hailing from the distant land of Fodlan, we meet Byleth, the Ashen Heart. This is a play on her canon Ashen Demon moniker, but toned down to something a little less intense. However, she still earns the new moniker very easily. Other trainees and trainers would immediately notice she's very aloof, but not in the same way as Silent Suzuka. Suzuka is at least warm. Byleth is very emotionally distant and very curt, rarely speaking more than necessary. Others would see her as cold and would very likely be on edge around her. And when they meet her out on the track, they may feel that they are being subconsciously evaluated. This is translated very well into her style. Byleth is a late runner / end chaser. She hangs back at first, evaluating the competition before making her move. And her stats and skills illustrate that. Were you to start a career mode with Byleth, she would come in with a base stat spread of 89 speed, 92 stamina, 84 power, 80 guts, and 101 wit, with a growth of 20% to wit and 10% to stamina. Byleth's strengths are going to be her endurance, the ability to position herself for the final spurt, and superior utilization of her skills. The normal skills she brings with her are Sharp Gaze, which improves positioning ability when surrounded, Unwavering Will, which decreases stamina loss while dueling for position. Calculated Pace will increase overall performance when holding back early, while Late Push will boost acceleration in the second half of the race. And finally, she comes with Silent Focus, which will boost her position ability while not leading. Byleth will not force an opening, but she will maneuver her way into an advantageous position as soon as the opening presents itself. At least, until one very particular ability activates, her special ability. Yeah, if you know anything about this character outside of Smash Bros, this one is a no-brainer. In Fire Emblem Three Houses, Divine Pulse allows you to go back to a previous turn or redo movements, literally turning back time. Here, Divine Pulse helps Byleth position herself for optimal performance late in the race. If she is passed near the final corner, she surges forward with perfect precision and velocity. 1 second she's behind you, the next she's neck and neck or ahead. Those who see it swear they saw the world itself move backwards for a fleeting moment. Now that we know her skills and stats, let's look at her affinities. Byleth is built to be a medium / long distance runner who can perform decently at the mile. However, she definitely struggles in sprints. She's built for late or end race surges, not leading the pack or hanging up front the entire race. Also, solid surfaces are almost everyone's best friend, and Byleth is no different. However, no horse girl competes in a vacuum. They always have someone they're competing against, and for Byleth,
あなたに勝利を持ち帰るわ。気合い入れていくわよ。
yeah, someone decided she wanted to extend the rivalry from the battlefield to the track. New world, same drive. That's Shez, the Swift Shadow, where Byleth puts the entire academy on edge just by her mere presence. Shez's upbeat, nigh chaos-driven levels of energy would earn her numerous friends with ease. Things would only start looking up for her socially when she hits the track. Shez comes in with 100 speed, 82 stamina, 94 power, 80 guts, and 78 wit. These stats, combined with the growth of 20% to speed and 10% to power, means she can force her way to the front and stay there. She truly is a front runner, and her skills help her stay in the front so long as she doesn't push herself overboard. Opening dash increases acceleration at the start. Press the advantage disrupts others' rhythm momentarily when overtaking. High gear gives a slight increase to velocity while leading. Reckless drive gives a slight boost to velocity while doing for position. And finally, reckless abandon increases velocity at the cost of draining additional endurance. Shez is all about getting up front and staying there, but it's risky, and nowhere is that shown more clearly than her special skill, Shadow Flash. After rounding the final corner, she draws upon all remaining endurance, surging forward in a blur of violet light, leaving rivals bewildered in her wake. I wanted to mimic her risk-taking in 3 hopes here, such as the time she fought a horde of monsters alone, or went cliff jumping for the sake of getting stronger. If Shez is not trained right, she'll burn out before the finish line. This means you'll want to be careful about the races you put her in. You want to namely focus on sprints and miles, though she's okay with the medium, but longer races are not her forte. This plays into her strengths of surging into the lead and pacing the front. Again, the track is most people's best friend, and Shez is no different here. The rivalry between these two would probably begin pretty one-sided. Shez would be the much more vocal of the two, whereas Byleth would very rarely push back, kind of dismissing her. At least, until year 2. For a little bit of context, in 3 Hopes, Shez had an absolute obsession with beating Byleth, where Byleth kinda just treated her like another opponent. At least until they fought again and again, and Byleth realized Shez was actually not someone that she could just write off. And then one particular moment made this whole rivalry very personal for Byleth, and that was when Shez killed her father. Overcome with a desire for revenge, Byleth gave herself to the goddess within her, and that's what ultimately led to her downfall in that game. Here, the rivalry wouldn't get that ugly, but the two would definitely push each other with the goal of running the other out of the academy. This one gets heated, even more than Die with Scarlet and Vodka. In fact, if there was ever a support card featuring both, one event would show a moment where they both cause the other to self-destruct during a training race. This is how much these two hate each other. But after a long time, with guidance from their trainers and maybe some disciplinary action from the academy, these two would stop being at each other's throats. Instead, it would become a more respectful rivalry where they actually push each other to their true limits and overcome them. Much like what happens if you actually recruit Byleth in 3 Hopes rather than killing her father. This rivalry could be legendary in academy lore. And that's how Byleth and Shez could be like if they were in Pretty Derby. I'm still relatively new to the game, so there are some mistakes I might have made that could be fixed or improved upon, but overall I think I did a decent enough job. Now, will this ever happen? Absolutely not. Characters allowed in that game have to be based on actual real-life retired racehorses, but this was at least fun to look into. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, and until next time, I'll see y'all in the starting gate.